Hi, and welcome to the virtual reality interview series. I'm your host, Nikia Whitaker Woody, CEO and event coordinator for the VA World Conference. The purpose of this series is a heart-led mission. We aim to inspire, motivate, and lift the voices of women who have shaped their paths in the virtual and remote world. When it comes to the style of our conversation, we're committed to being authentic, fully transparent, and maintaining an atmosphere of open dialogue and mutual admiration. So, we're not here just to tell tales, but to share our realities. We want to know the highs, the lows, the in betweens, and the resilience it takes to keep going. So, without further ado, and with great anticipation, let's pave the way for this conversation with warmth and an eager spirit to learn. Hello, everyone. Today, our enterprising visionary is April Brazil, and she is going to tell us all about herself.
All right. Thank you, Nikia. I'm Ashley Brazil. I am an experienced customer success manager with a background in education and nonprofit management. I've done 15 years of working with customers, one-on-one and in groups. And so I really bring that consultative and coaching skill set to my virtual assisting business, as well as with the product knowledge, training knowledge, and administrative skills that I've garnered through my career so far. So that's what makes me unique.
Cool. So, my first question is, as a new virtual professional, what are some of your current challenges?
Yeah, as a new virtual professional, some of my current challenges are just getting through the barriers in mindset
Mm.
to uncover other opportunities for clients, and in clearing that mindset to be able to market myself more widely and effectively, to come into contact with people who could become clients. So that's what I'm working on so far. And coaching has really helped me with that.
Oh, that's interesting. I had the same problem, rock star at work, but I had an awesome team and everything. But when it came to being virtual, I was lonely. I didn't have no one to share my crap with. I was just like, what am I doing? Like, who does this? Like, why do people think this is the best thing ever? So definitely understand you about we have to work on that set shift.
Mhm.
Um, what skills have you been able to, you just touched on this, but successfully translate to your business?
Yes. So, in looking at my experience, I realized that I have diverse experience.
Mhm.
It's very versatile. And so the skills that I've been able to bring so far into my business are definitely my document review and feedback giving skills, as well as my expertise about marketing and segmenting clientele, and then scaling business once a clientele has gotten to a certain number. And so I was actually able to employ those skills today, which is awesome.
Oh my goodness, that's like super awesome because I felt like even though I am well versed in a lot of things, it didn't like immediately translate. I was using Adobe PDFs for my contracts instead of a CRM. So it was a whole lot of manual because I'm used to corporate, so I thought that's what you did. So I mean, I find it interesting that you have just been able to out of the gate be like, I know I do this, I know I do this, and it works well. So kudos to you on that.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely kudos because I was stuck for a minute with the PDF. I mean, literally stuck. And then too, I love Microsoft, but I love Google too. So I have both. And everybody was like, "Nope, you don't need Google." I'm like, "Nope, I'm gonna keep both." And they was like, You don't need." I use both. It's a personal preference, and sometimes it works out better for me because I don't like Google Sheets, and I don't like that Sheets doesn't have formulas, and the PDFs, not the PDFs, the PowerPoints don't always do what they're supposed to do. And so,
Mhm,
yes,
mhm.
I got to keep my Microsoft. What,
No, yeah.
yeah, what financial considerations have been crucial for you as a new virtual entrepreneur?
Mm, financial considerations. Yeah, the most like biggest consideration for me has been being real with myself about what I need financially.
Hmm.
That has been the biggest hurdle. And again, coaching has been really helpful with that. I think if someone else is struggling with that, treat it like an equation, like mathematically, this is what I need for the math to math for me. It's not about feelings, right? And that's been the biggest hurdle, really, financially. That and just having a contract in place and the discernment of working with people who you know will pay you for your time and your services as well.
That is definitely something that a lot of people struggle with. You want the client so bad that you are willing to take anything, even though it's not helping you cover your software costs.
Mhm.
Um, I personally am a gadget person. Like, I have two phones, I have two monitors, I have several laptops, I have a docking station, gadget centric. So when it came time to start my business, I didn't really have to do much because I had it all.
Mhm.
But when it came to starting my business as well, there are certain softwares that's just for virtual entrepreneurs. So then I had to learn all these new things that I had never heard of before. So
Mhm.
that was a definite financial consideration for me because you got to buy the CRM and you got to do this and you got to learn this, and it's just like, oh my god. So definitely we should definitely make sure that we are doing what we need to do.
Yes.
What strategies do you feel can be effectively used to market our businesses when we first start out, especially since the market is saturated?
Hmm. Yeah, I think this is also an area where I'm journeying through it. I think for me, the area of marketing that I want to explore is just social media,
Mhm.
and the ways that I can engage people through giving aspects of my expertise.
Mhm.
The other thing that I mean has historically worked for me in my just my job searching in my life is just connecting with people who are my champions, who are all authentic connections,
Mhm.
and just being real with them about what I do and my capabilities, and trust that that will put you in the right spaces with the right people to bring about what you're looking for. Um, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. I feel that being my authentic self gets me everything. I am super blessed and I know it, but it also opens me up to things because people feel as though they can take advantage of you too. So
Mm,
we always have to be cognizant of we want to give unto others, but we also need to make sure that we keep some for ourselves so that we
yes.
don't get burned out. Um, why did you choose to become a remote or virtual worker?
Yeah. Well, I have experience working remotely just from working in the tech space. And honestly, it feels like a journey, but it also feels like just something that I just decided one day. I was taking stock of my skills and my experience, so like just within the job search realm, and was looking at what all I could do and stumbled upon a video about virtual assisting and was like, let me just tune into this. And it was really interesting and engaging. I learned that all those skills that I had just taken stock of could be skills that I could be owning, but also leveraging
Mhm.
independently. And that never occurred to me before. And so that's kind of how that all came about. And then I uh, just said, I'm going to take one step. I'm going to take one step. I'm going to take one step toward it and be my authentic self. And ta-da,
Yeah.
here I am.
And now it's weird because I never wanted to be an entrepreneur, like never. And
Same.
also too, I never thought that I would want to do something else. I mean, I've been a parent since I was 19 years old. And so I was like, okay, they go, nobody. And then it was like, okay, they go. What am I gonna do? Because you're so used to, we got track practice and we got soccer practice and we got to go this place and we got to go that place, and it's like all of a sudden they won't hit no more. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? And I didn't want a job. I already
Mm,
got one of them. I didn't want a job, so I happened to see an ad for a virtual assistant at an art studio, and I was like, I love art, and I know I can do it, and that was it. I started putting my plan in place and got all the things. So yes, we just get where we get.
exactly.
Um, you already told me about your unique qualities. What steps have you taken to build a sense of community in the remote industry?
Yeah. So I am like a one-on-one networker,
Mhm.
but when I network with people, I listen to them hard.
Mhm.
I'm a very engaging one-on-one person. And so what I've done is just like really like heard and wanted to hear other people's stories, met with them, like, and just kind of told them my story and just kind of glean information from there. I'm also a part of several virtual assisting networking or Facebook groups,
Mhm.
and I try to be more engaging
Mhm.
on there as well, just with like contributing experiences and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I created two Facebook groups. My first group, I literally created it 5 years ago, so I'm super proud of that anniversary they got coming up. We grew that group to over 700 women, women of color. And then we started the conference. It started as an idea of, we just wanted to meet each other in real life, and so we were going to meet to have a slumber party. And I was like, look, I'm too old for that, but we can meet and learn something. And so that's how the conference came up. So like, I'm too old for slumber party. I'm just not doing that. I'm not traveling for a slumber party. So I think that the community aspect of it has definitely helped shape me. Building a group from zero and having to be present every day, and people are relying on you for the information. That really helped strengthen my everything, because I mean, I had to learn how to do graphics. I had to learn to communicate the information in the way that everybody could absorb it, because I am more high level at some things and I use words people don't know. So I had to learn to um, gauge my audience and things like that. So I think community has really given me more than I've given it. Okay. What do you think can be done to make the remote industry more inclusive and empowering for all?
That's a really good question. What can be done to make the remote industry more inclusive? I think just coming from like the world of remote work,
Mhm.
I think remote work lends itself well to just circumstantially, like practically being more open to different types of people. I think what could help is just creating spaces for remote workers to get together, like physical spaces where you're a remote worker
Mhm.
and you're working remotely, but you're working with other remote workers. There
Mhm.
was this wonderful video that I saw recently of this woman and her friends who live local to her. They all work remotely. And so they just get together around her dining table and they work and they bring the kids, and someone's got popcorn in the microwave and someone's, playing music. And it's just, that is the atmosphere that I think would foster more inclusion and just happiness as well. Um, that's where I would love to see this world go to.
Yes. One of the things we instituted in the other group was co-working. And me and Miss Janet still do it. We get on and we work together during the day. Last week I went to my friend's house and we worked together. We work in the office all the time, but we worked at her house on Friday. So I definitely think it's helpful in that it keeps you from being lonely. It keeps you from getting in your head too, because when you're doing stuff and doing stuff and doing stuff, you could be them thoughts. So I definitely think that is a good idea as well. I think also too with the remote piece of it, you kind of break down some of the barriers of I feel uncomfortable or I don't want to go there and I'm scared to meet new people and things like that. You're in your own home, you have your own comfortability. All you got to do is possibly turn your camera on because you don't have to turn it on, and you don't have to talk. You just sit there. I've seen people get on um, co-working and never turn their camera and never say a thing. So, I
Yeah.
think that, if people create the spaces of openness and authentic behavior too, because like I've seen some co-working groups where you can't talk. It's like, then what I'm here for? I can
Hmm.
be quiet by myself. So I
Hmm.
mean, everybody has their own interpretation of what co-working is, but to me, co-working is whatever you need it to be. If I,
Right.
I have a thought, I want to talk about it.
Hmm.
Do you mind if I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah. No, I think like with those flexible rules of engagement, I think it really does make it more more accessible,
mhm,
and I think, having those different rules of engagement where people can be less verbal, more
mhm,
verbal,
mhm,
on camera, not on camera, very talkative, not talkative at all, maybe a structured talk
mhm.
or a mingle session, like all of that just opens the door for others to
Yeah.
to be a part.
Yeah, my long-term plan is for us to do pop-up co-working in different cities and then potentially buy a co-working franchise. So that's long term.
Amazing.
Create a space for us. I've been to co-working spaces and it's not for me. It is too sterile. If that makes sense, it's too sterile. It's like I'm gonna sit in this glass box and you're gonna watch me and I'm gonna do my thing and then I'm gonna go home. Like what I want to do that for? I gotta do that at home for real. So how do you handle the setbacks and keep yourself motivated?
How do I handle setbacks and keep myself motivated? It waxes and wanes, and I think that's part of what keeps me able to continue to be on the bandwagon is knowing that, every day of your life, you're going to have a different feeling and approach and attitude toward it. And you don't have to maintain any one attitude or approach or feeling
Mhm.
in order to stay the course. I think that's the most important thing. The other thing is when it gets hard, I do have community that can remind me of like, Ashley, you are so different. You are so many different types of smart. You have so much to offer. You're so impactful in ways that you don't even recognize. And when I get a hold of that, I'm like, okay, I can keep doing this. I can re-engage this and give this another go.
Right.
And so that's what keeps me kind of going.
Yeah, that's for me too. Usually when I'm having a setback, I just go harder, if that makes sense. Because I feel like ain't no need in crying to somebody else. I am smart enough to get myself out of this little funk. Let's just run through everything that's in your mind that's keeping you down. Put it to the side for a minute, continue on what you're doing. In the end, it's probably not going to make a difference anyway, and you can let it go. So definitely feel you on the setbacks. We have to learn to keep ourselves motivated and having a goal is a good thing. I know I spoke with Marie last week and she says she writes inspirational things on her mirror at night so that when she wakes up in the morning, it inspires her throughout her day. So I
Oh,
did that yesterday and it was
yeah.
really nice to wake up to that when I went to brush my teeth. It was sitting there. So that was
Huh.
interesting. The little things help.
Yeah, I might try that.
Yes. As a woman of color,
Mhm.
how do you feel you contribute to the industry?
Mm. As a woman of color, how do I contribute to the industry? I think so my target audience, folks that I want to work with, are sole entrepreneurs of color who are trying to bring about change in the world. And so I think for those people, I provide a safe haven to be authentic and real about their challenges, their needs, to not have to show up so perfectly,
Mhm.
um, and to be a place where they can get support and definitely get like services and expertise, but also get grace.
Mhm.
So that's what I think I offer. And what I offer, I mean, is not for everybody. Like if you're not turning anybody off, you're not turning anybody on, you
Right.
know? So you have to understand that, you're never going to be everybody's cup of tea, and that
Mhm.
shouldn't be your aim.
Right. I'm writing this down because this is going to be your quote.
Nice.
Um, yeah, I think for me, um, I had such a blessed and blasé upbringing, if that makes sense. And even life, you know, I was raised to be super smart. I was raised to be an overachiever. So, pregnant at 19, had a job and has had a job since. Um, so it never dawned on me that some people don't get the things I get or don't do the things I do. And it didn't dawn on me until I became an entrepreneur and people were really struggling with certain things. And I'm like, but why? And I was listening to this podcast the other day, and Joe Morton says, we may all be Black, but we don't all have the same experiences. And that really hit me because I'm like, because a lot of people like to say, "Oh, you're so smart, you talk so funny, da 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 da." But I don't think anything's wrong with it. I mean, this is just me. But sometimes we have so many stereotypes, and you don't seem to just accept that everybody is their own self, and you don't have to fit into a mold and all those other things. And that's one of the reasons why I choose to do this and not really want money for it, because I want to uplift people who haven't had all the opportunities or the blessings that I have. Because it is out out there. It is hard out there.
Absolutely. No, I think, I kind of grew up very similarly to you, and I've definitely gotten people always ask me, where are you from? You speak
Mhm,
so different. And I'm like,
mhm,
I am from here. I
mhm.
am from Chicago. I am in no way exotic. Um, but I think, we have to understand that people and culture are one thing, but there is also individuality too. And people are individuals. And so, however you show up, you're showing up as you,
Right.
right? Like, however I speak is how Black people speak because I'm speaking it.
Right. Yes. I get ribbed so much about the words I use. I literally do. I mean, one of my friends, Toya, she literally said the other day, I heard you talking and I had to pull out the dictionary. I'm like, seriously? So definitely understand that. I mean, I just think that there are ways that we can, what is the word? Break the stereotypes, set the standard. Um, it's not about collaborate, it's not about competition. We can all eat at this table,
Hmm.
that type of thing. So I definitely think as women of color, that unique perspective that we bring to the table is that we're going to have a table, whether you give us a seat or we create one.
Yeah. And to know that like no one is cornering the market on greatness. Like you too can be just as stellar as anybody else, right? With the drive and the consistent like working at it. And so, I think sometimes we often get into this space of like, well, only so many of us can succeed, or it can only look in this certain way. But no one is you. Like, no one, even if we're doing the same thing, Kia, we
Mhm,
can be doing the exact same procedure. You're
mhm,
going to do it differently than I will. You will notice something different than I will, or
mhm.
you'll, word something different than I will.
Yeah.
And so that's what actually makes like this so
Yeah.
fun is that working with a virtual assistant, you really can tailor the flavor
Hmm.
right to where you want it to be,
Hmm.
because we're all individuals.
Yeah. So let's get back to your expertise. How do you suggest virtual businesses plan for scalability and future growth since you're the strategist?
Yeah. So the way to plan for scalability is to first understand if you are a company that has a product, to understand how your product functions currently and how you are projecting it to function a year or two from now.
Mm,
The other thing is to think about your sales pipeline and to understand that it behooves you to segment this pipeline from the time that you launch so that you understand how to engage with each of those customers as they go through your customer journey. And you also understand how you're going to make income from them as they journey with you as a customer. So that's what I would say in terms of like planning for scalability and
mhm.
then just like mapping out how you're going to treat each customer, what is each customer going to get, what are they not going to get, so forth and so on. How are you going to support all of them? And what do you need to have in place for that support to be as seamless as possible?
Yes, I am working on that now. I just finished my Dell mentorship session before we started. She's helping me with the marketing aspect and increasing engagement to convert into sales so that, my mission is not to make money. My mission is to break even because I don't need the money. I really just want to help people. So I definitely am learning about the projections and the pipeline and trying to figure out like all the things that we could do that are low cost to support the entrepreneurs. So I'm working on my pipeline.
That's awesome.
I know, I'm so excited. No, I'm not.
Well, you must be excited.
I hate math.
Oh, well, that's fair.
Hate math. I'm like good at everything but math.
Me too.
At math. Okay. So you are all experienced. You just got those kudos. What do you feel is the most important skill or quality that every virtual entrepreneur should possess?
Hmm. Every entrepreneur needs, I would say, two things. One is tenacity. You
Mm,
have to be tenacious enough to advocate for yourself, to promote yourself, to have adequate boundaries.
mm,
Uh, the other thing I think, and this is true of working with any type of customer, is you have to have active listening skills. You have to listen to what people are saying to you, but also listen for what they're not saying to you and to be able to respond to that.
that's good. Yeah, I know I'm working on interpersonal skills. I am currently taking the PACE certification for administrative professionals, and I keep failing this module. Like I have passed all the other one, but for some reason I keep failing this one. I'm like, what am I doing? Like I don't know how I'm failing it because I feel like I know how to say what I need to say, and I know how to write an email, and I
Mhm.
can have a conversation, but evidently I'm not having a conversation right. So I think one of the main skills a person should grow in, because I believe we all have it, but I believe they should grow in how to convey themselves so that your connotation, your inflection,
Mm,
and your meaning comes across the way you want it to. When you're working virtually, that person can't see um, everything that you have going on around you. They
mhm,
can't see the body language sometimes. So they are literally relying on facial features and your voice.
mhm,
So
mhm.
I think that we need to all learn to communicate that way. I mean, I think some people are animated. Like I know I talk with my hands a lot. So some people are animated, but that may not come across well on a computer screen. They might be like, is she having a fit? What's wrong? And I know me, I have TD because I take mental health meds, and so you constantly see me either licking my lips because I'm trying not to chew the side of my mouth, or you see me chewing the side of my mouth. So I've had issues at work with that because people thought I was basically ignoring them or something. I'm like, I ain't even think about you.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I definitely think that, we have, that's one of the most critical skills, because if you're going to be successful virtually, you got to be able to get your message across, and you got to be able to get it across effectively.
Yes. And I think for me, like, so I've dealt with people one-on-one, coached them one-on-one in person. I've been a teacher. I've also uh, trained to be a customer success manager during 2020. So everything was, I learned how to engage with the camera
Mhm,
so that I look and appear as present
mhm,
as I can be.
mhm,
So you see me kind of like interact with my hands a lot,
mhm.
pointing, and things like that, because you want to be as there as possible so that people can trust you, like you, and engage with you.
Yeah. So, how do you handle work-life balance?
Hmm. Work-life balance is extremely important to me
Mhm,
because health and well-being are extremely important to me. And the way I deal with it is first understanding that there are going to be times where I'm really great at it, and there's going to be times when you're really not good at it. It's like being on a diet and exercise. Like if you're planning on doing it your whole life, there are going to be times when you're not going to the way you engage with it is not going to be ideal.
mhm,
And so I try to have boundaries in terms of my time. Like there's a certain time at night where like the computer goes off
mhm,
or emails and business things are put away,
mhm.
right? And there's also a time where, you know, I also in the morning don't start up with business things until a certain like my morning routine is complete. And that is the best I've been able to manage for right now.
Okay.
Fine.
I went to the Black Enterprise Conference, and they had a panel with the lady who runs Diddy's vodka brand. And she literally said it doesn't exist. She said work-life balance doesn't exist. Things are gonna fall through the cracks. Sometimes you're gonna be good at it, sometimes you're gonna miss practice, sometimes you're not gonna be good at it. Um, you just gotta make it work for you.
Mm-hmm.
I know for me, I am hyperactive. I mean, I have ADHD and I have bipolar. So those give me superpowers. I literally only sleep 4 nights a week, 4 hours a night, literally, four
Wow.
hours a night. And I use my productivity during the middle of the night. For like
Mhm.
2 hours, I do nothing. There's no noise, I just do nothing. But then I use my time because I have it. I'm not gonna sit down and just look crazy in the middle of the dark. Um, but I also feel like too, I struggle with the my husband needs time. My daughter needs time. My mama might want some time, but I ain't giving it to her. That my cat needs time.
Yeah.
When I work all day and I go in that room, that cat yells at me like, "Where you
Mhm.
been? I need a rub. Come sit down and don't move." And I mean, literally, if I sit down, she sits on my lap and won't move. So
Mhm.
I find that I struggle with finding the time for all those things, because when I intentionally make the time, they don't want me alone. It's like, you want to go watch a movie? No, I'm doing something. I'm watching a game. I'm like, but I'm here. You complain
Mhm.
I'm not here. And so that is my struggle. I try to make the time, but then they don't feel like they want it. So I don't give them no more.
Yeah. I mean, I just think of it as like a bucket, it's a debit and credit system, So if I'm spending a lot of time away from my dogs, or if I'm spending a lot of time away from myself because I'm engaging with other people or doing other things, then I just note that and I'm like, okay, so I try to debit or credit back in like in the next 2 weeks. Like, okay, I missed this thing or I
Yeah,
didn't do that thing.
yeah,
So let me schedule some time to have boundary time
mhm,
to pour back in the
yeah,
next 2 weeks.
yeah. I've been traveling a lot on the weekends, and so now they're like, "Well, when you home?" I'm like, "You ain't had no time for me before." So, like, what you want me to do? It's a catch-22. So
Yeah,
that's why I say it doesn't exist. It's subjective. One of
mhm,
these days, we're gonna get on the same plane and it'll be okay.
exactly.
One of these days. Okay. How do you manage continuous development in your business?
Yeah, continual development. again, I like the analogy of like taking small, sweet steps
Mhm.
uh, is important to me. I really like to, I'm always been a journaler.
Mhm.
So I journal and I write down goals for myself. They can be in the form of a list. And I just kind of keep awareness of that and just say, I'm going to take a small, sweet step like in the next 14 days and do that. I'm also really like adept and like used to continually learning.
Mhm.
Like working in technology, things are always changing. So I'm always kind of like learning on the fly. Like, is there a video I can watch? Is there a thing I can read? Is there like, and just so I'm always absorbing information. And so that's kind of my plan for continued development
Yeah.
is that.
Yeah, I think being the overachiever, raised to be the overachiever, and then being in corporate, I just instinctively want to learn something new. And so like everybody's always like, you're always taking a class and you're always talking about this you learned, and you're always going this place. It's like, well, what else am I gonna do?
Mm-hmm.
And it benefits me. It's not like I'm wasting my time, with my 1 hour wretched time every night, but I'm literally enriching myself. And I
Mm-hmm.
want to emphasize that we as virtual professionals, we as people as a whole should always enrich ourselves. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you never know when you're going to get the opportunity to do something else or be something else or meet someone and you don't even know who they are and they're the person that can get you what you want.
Yeah.
So I think
Yeah.
we need to, I mean, I know education is important is an important topic for everyone, but it's definitely important for entrepreneurs, virtual entrepreneurs too,
Yes.
because our world changes a lot, a lot, a lot.
Yes. I mean, when you're offering your skills in an a la carte fashion, you want to have a breadth of offerings.
Mhm.
Again, back to like pipeline, you want to have a breadth of offerings to create a nice, healthy funnel for yourself. And I think um, as well, what I've experienced is that when people have your individual attention, they will ask you about your expertise on anything.
Mhm.
Like it can be something you've never heard about in your life. You're like, right. And so the more you just know just from being in the world, the more you can be effective
That is so
and come into that gap and be like, oh yeah, I know about
true.
SQL in this conversation about mission. Sure.
Yes.
So yeah.
Yes. I pride myself on knowing a lot. I pride myself on that because I don't want to ever um let my ancestors down per se, not the way
Mhm.
back ones. I'm talking about my grandmother, my grandfather, who essentially raised me and wanted me to succeed. So
Yeah.
that's very
Thanks.
important for me. Okay, so do you have an initiative or project you want to tell us about?
So my current project initiative that I'm working on is really just getting into my own marketing strategy. So I'm going to be engaging on Instagram, and the name of my business is Unstoppable Excellence VA Services that you can find my website. I'm going to be expanding that and including social media. I'm going to be on potentially LinkedIn, and then also definitely Instagram. So you can follow me there. I'm going to be offering my expertise on customer success and all of that via LinkedIn. And that is linkedin.com/ Ashley Brazil _DePaul, DEPAUL. That's the name of my university. So, and I had to distinguish myself from other Ashley Brazils, and
Mhm.
there are more than you would think that there would be. So, you can find me there, and thank you so much.
No problem. Okay, my last question. What is one piece of wisdom or inspiration that you can give our listeners on embarking on their own remote journey?
Yeah, that's really exciting. When embarking on your own remote journey, a snippet of wisdom, there's three things. One, if you can, bring somebody with you. Because then when things are like not working out ideally or you're having those mindset hurdles, you can be like, wow, this sucks. You have somebody to tell that to. which really allows you to vent to keep going.
Mhm.
The other thing I would say is take honest stock of your skills and what you can offer and err on the side, quiet the part of your mind that says you can't do it or that it's not valuable or that you're not worthy to ask whatever price you want to set for yourself. The third thing I would say is create critical connections. Those connections are connections that usually come from people you already know who champion you, like you, love you, support you, with people who you can be your authentic self with and who will also champion you and bring you resources and opportunities that you're looking for.
I believe those are really, really good ones. Yeah, for someone who has only gotten clients through referrals and word of mouth, I wholeheartedly say critical connections are important.
Mhm.
Um, just from people seeing me on social media and in the different groups that I've created, they felt like they could refer people to me for my services, and I am forever grateful for that. So, yes, those critical connections are everything. So,
Yeah.
that was our last question. I want to say thank you again, April. I appreciate getting to know you and offering any advice or support you possibly need. And I want everyone to know that we won't just talking, we were sharing, growing, and reshaping the narrative for the industry and especially for women of color. Let's go shine together, you guys. And until next time.